Hi, everyone. Welcome to Whether or Not. I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, and we wanted to respond to a previous episode we got a lot of interaction about. And obviously, when you're talking about the winter outlook, a lot of interest. Are we going to get snow? Are we going to be able to ski? Are we going to get buried? Are we going to get more than we got last year, which wouldn't be hard to do? So we wanted to build on that. And on a weekly basis, I want to keep you updated on the weather pattern and where we're going. And of course, as storm threats become closer and we start to get buzz about, I heard it was going to snow in a week, we either want to alert you to that, give it some credibility, or debunk it and say, no, it looks like a threat, but it's really a small chance. So I hope you can use Whether or Not as a resource for that on a weekly basis. So to do that and to take a dive into a deeper discussion on the pattern and how things are unfolding as we get closer to winter, there's no better source than to talk to my friends in the Eyewitness News weather team. And first up, meteorologist Dani Beckstrom.
What's up?
Hi, Dani.
I'm so happy to be here.
What's amazing is last time you were on Whether or Not, we were welcoming you a little over a year ago.
Over a year ago.
You come down from Las Vegas, and you have the least snowiest winter of all time.
I know. Snow is my second favorite S word. My first favorite is snack. But this past winter was...
I should have had a big bowl coming out of Halloween right here. I'm sorry.
That was my lead into saying, where are my snacks? No, but my first winter in New York City was the least snowiest on record. And so I'm wondering, how busy are we going to be this winter?
I know. And so is everybody else. It would be hard to imagine that we could get less than 2.5 inches of snow this year.
Yeah.
And when you look at the overall pattern that's developing, you'd think that we'd have the ducks should be on the pond at times, right?
Well, El Nino winter, it tends to lead to more activity, right? But it's also warmer, not just wetter, for the Northeast.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so what we're seeing so far is kind of classic El Nino stuff, very active subtropical jet stream. And then you have our northern jet stream, but it's a bit of a split flow where things really aren't phasing right now. Things are kind of looking more zonal. Things are moving very fast across the country. So all of a sudden, we're going into a pretty extended dry stretch here. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we're going to see in the short term any measurable rain through, let's say, the 17th or 18th.
Right.
Which can be pretty amazing.
That's New York City specifically, because we even saw a couple snowflakes, far north of the city in the Catskills the past couple of days. And I know that was big on social media.
Yeah.
So when it comes to actually New York City specifically, we typically see our first snowfall mid-December.
Yes.
And you're saying that at least through the middle of November, we're not looking that much of anything.
No, and again, even this edition was sort of spurred by that first winter weather advisory that we had in some of the northern suburbs, getting everybody thinking about it. And, the thing is that we may have an active storm track because of El Nino going forward, but will the cold air be in place? You've put up the temperature outlook as we go through the middle of November and screaming an above normal signal here after we go through a bit of a cool stretch as we go into Veterans Day. Right. So does that mean, and by the way, a below normal precipitation chance. So we talked about that dry pattern that's going to come in. I wonder, just with some of the lingering vegetation, if we get the winds kicked up, do we actually talk about a fire threat next week? Which could be a possibility. That's something that actually just came to mind. We're going to go through, before Whether or Not is over, kind of a checklist that what you should be doing as we make this transition in season. But at least from what you've been showing me here on these graphics, we've had so many winters recently where they've all been late bloomers. Mm-hmm. We can't get the cold air locked in till very late in the season. And, you look back to, let's say, an El Nino of 2016, where we had the biggest New York City snowfall, so a little over 27 inches. That was an El Nino year. The 82-83 year, one big centerpiece of a snowstorm. 97-98, kind of similar. And maybe that's going to be the flavor of this, where, we can nickel and dime for a little bit, but the season will be remembered for a blockbuster or two.
So you're thinking it's a late bloomer. That's a pattern we're seeing now.
That's kind of how I've always related to it. So yeah, but go ahead.
So you're thinking that it takes us a little longer, But once we get into late winter, you're talking February into March, that's when you gut feeling is that we'll have these blockbusters.
Yeah, that's when, it looks like you've heard the forecasts of the above normal temperatures for the start of for the entire winter, the December, January, February meteorological winter.
Right.
But the above normal signals are heavily weighted on December and January, and it's closer to normal in February.
Gotcha.
So if now all of a sudden you've got this active storm tracks, kind of a shooting gallery where we've got a conveyor belt of storms. We got some phasing between the northern jet and the subtropical jet, and we've got East Coast storms we're going to have more of. That's for sure. We didn't see many last year.
Well, last year was just, let's go back to, I think this was crazy. We had the latest first measurable snow in Central Park, not until February. And then we ended the season, the least snowiest on record.
The snowless streak went 328 days, and that was by the skin of our teeth that we got some of that measurable. Yeah, so absolutely. So if you think about that in terms of sort of just some blockbuster systems, yeah, they would definitely favor later in the season. But with that said, I did read something about what's called a stratospheric warming event that just started to occur. And when you get that sort of sudden warming of the stratosphere, sometimes that could mean a disruption in the polar vortex. Strong polar vortex would generally mean, we're not getting as many Arctic outbreaks. But if there's some type of disruption, and it looks like when you have a stratospheric warming event, there's a lag of about maybe 10 days, maybe it could be a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, some Arctic air may dump down into the lower 48. Now, I don't know if it's going to go into the western half of the country, Siberia. I don't know if it's coming into eastern Canada and the U.S., but maybe in early December, there's some opportunity, at least for some of our inland areas, to get, if we have a storm in place, to get some snow. So,
and that, we'll go to the average first snow, which would kind of be in line with climatologically what we see.
Yes. Yeah. Mid to late November, not surprising to see in the Poconos and Catskills, but I believe it was like December 13th was sort of that average date for first measurable in New York City. For the entire season, I want to say we're up around the 30-year average is somewhere in the upper 20s, like 28, 29 inches of snow for the season.
Oh, yeah. I think it was on this graphic. 29.8.
So there you go.
Right on.
So there you go. So, yeah. So, the one storm in 2016, if we had one like that, we could get close. But maybe it is difficult to get close to that average snowfall, given what we're seeing there. The other thing we're going to look at is for some high latitude blocking. So we look at all these oscillations. I was looking at the North Atlantic oscillation before we started today. It's a little negative. There's no sign of like systems slowing down and the jet stream really big amplification. So, you get these weak little wimpy systems coming by like we just had, recently and nothing really gelling. Everything's down in the southeast. We'll see if that recovers. I don't know if you had any thoughts about going deeper into the season, if you think we might have more kind of a wavy jet coming in.
Well, we've got to at least get one or two nor'easters this year, right? Last year, did we even get a true bona fide nor'easter?
Yeah, we had some coastal threats, but, it was all mix or rain, and the snow element part of it just wasn't that strong. There. Yeah, so, but I think, there's just statistically with the number of opportunities we should have with the active storm track, I would think, there's going to be a few of them where we'll at least have access to some of the cold air. The thing is, what may just evolve is it's going to be, interior may do really well and coastal sections may continue to struggle. So that gives you hope for some of the ski seasons. We already just got a little early season snowfall in the Adirondacks and the Green and White Mountains, some lake effect snows. So hopefully we can at least do a little bit better. The ski areas we're just crying last year.
Well, that's how I like it. Like, I'll stay close to the coast where nothing sticks. And if I want to enjoy the snow, I'll rent a car and head up to the mountain and ski.
We were actually talking about, you growing up in Idaho, I asked you, what the elevation, 2,500 feet. So you were seeing a lot of white Christmases there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd get snowfall that stuck a few times this season. But then there's a ski resort like 45 minutes from my house. So it's very easy to get to the feet of snow. And I went to school in Utah. So, some of the best snow on earth is what they'd be saying.
So you'll be no stranger, although the snow type might be a little bit different here in terms of its water content.
Right.
Sludge.
Yeah, I've heard the nice sludge lining the streets. But I'm excited. Like last year, I just feel like I missed it. I was in Vegas for 3 years. Before Vegas, I was in South Florida. So it's been 6 years since I've truly lived in a 4-season place. And I felt like last year we missed a season because there were was hardly any snow in New York. So I'm hoping for a little bit of it.
Well, this is interesting to me. Let's take people a little bit behind the scenes in the weather office now. You're here a year. Wanted to sort of get your take on your observations watching tri-state weather, maybe some of the patterns that you've observed now, some of the things you've learned here.
Yeah, I think what surprised me the most were the tornado outbreaks that New Jersey has seen. This typically, when you're looking at markets in our business, this is not considered a severe weather market necessarily. Right. But I think that's the muscle that I've used the most that I maybe wasn't anticipating was just severe weather. And I'm hoping for the snow. That was shocking last year, but of course that actually was unusual to not see measurable snow. The humidity, dealing with the humidity again has been interesting after Vegas, but I've enjoyed the challenge of truly 4 seasons and all the different weather events that brings.
You bring up a great point about the severe weather, which now it's not just severe weather season now. It really seems to be all year round. I feel like there's and there's a lot of discussion and research being done as to whether does climate change mean more shear in the atmosphere? Is it more conducive? I just think we just overall have a more supercharged atmosphere, and the fact that we can see, wintertime tornado outbreaks and we're hitting 70 in January more often, stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is your first year, but even in all my years here, it's only been the last 3 to 5 years where it's like, some of our states setting record tornado warning numbers during the season. Yeah, so that's a great point.
We're seeing what used to be Tornado Alley. I feel like it's shifting itself. And so now we're starting to see that tornado threat in the mid-Atlantic states, which is very interesting. What I enjoy here is, the tropical stuff. That's kind of my specialty. That's what I enjoy forecasting the most. So I like being in a place that we have to watch the tropics. I mean, heaven forbid we actually are impacted by it, but over the season as these tropical systems start to develop, it's fun getting to track them again. And I'm glad that we haven't had any
Tropical Storm Lee was no fun for me.
Well, for you, but I had that Nantucket trip planned the weekend that it impacted Nantucket, so it wasn't fun for me either. But I do enjoy getting to watch it again.
Yeah, saying my name is a potential threat and it being a thorn in everybody's side for 10 days, again, something I can relate to.
Now they know how we feel.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate it. Before we go, I want to do kind of a checklist as we get close to the holidays here. Things to do in the home as we're trying to make the wardrobe switch. I don't know if you're like me. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to give up on the golf shirt, but the sweater's got to come in. But even stuff you're doing. So this will be a little different. Apartment living versus home in the suburbs. What are you doing anything to change for the cold season?
I'm just honestly, I'm trying to clean out. I'm trying to get rid of bulk. I mean, you have the best wardrobe of anyone I've ever met. So I am
very kind.
I do understand that, you're probably switching the seasons. But yeah, I mean, learning how to dress for it and also store coats and sweaters and all of that. I mean, that's been interesting in apartment living. But I think what I try to do is simplify and also, just being more sustainable with it, which has been difficult.
Well, so a good point in terms of the suburbs, sustainable. You made me think about all the leaves out there that may be clogging some of the storm drains. Take this advantage with the dry stretch. Clean that up a little bit. Again, we may have that fire risk as we go into the coming weeks if we really go dry.
Yeah.
And obviously the grass starting to dry up and the brush starting to come in.
So interesting to me to see that October we ended up below normal in terms of precipitation because it felt, with every weekend.
That's right.
And so when we actually came in drier than average, I thought, maybe we do need to start watching things like the drought monitor and, obviously we haven't really had it kick in yet. But
it's a good point. Always a balance. Obviously there's less water consumption this time of year, but we have the Southeast is enduring a big time drought.
Yes.
Thankfully, they're getting a lot more rain.
I mean, you don't think of Louisiana as a place that's dealing with drought, but they're seeing a significant drought right now, and their fire season is insane.
Absolutely. Some of the other things inside the home, I was thinking, if you have either a humidifier or maybe there's a humidifier built into your HVAC system, switch that over to a winter setting so we can get the humidity up in the house, produce that static electricity when you touch the doorknob. Seal those windows, easy for energy costs and everything, for those drafts to cost you a lot of money. So seal things up and just see if you have any drafts around the area. I was trying to think, moisturize,
very important.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling it.
Some other,
And the cars too, right? It's time to start thinking about,
So a lot of people have asked me about snow tires now.
Yeah.
So, go by, this sort of climatological average depending on where you are. You're in the northern suburbs, think around by Thanksgiving, by December 1st, you might want to have the snows on. You're in and around New York City. I mean, if you're commuting in, you're going to need them. But if you're just in the city and you're fortunate enough to have a car in the city, which is more and more difficult these days, you might be able to wait till December.
But also with the big temperature drop, I think it's, every 10-degree drop in air temperature, you lose like 1 PSI in your tires. So that always drove me crazy with the big temperature swings. So check your air tire pressure.
Yeah, that's big with gas consumption and will cost you too. If you keep those tires outside, you can lose several PSI overnight.
It's weird that we're talking about this considering it was 80 degrees like 2 weeks ago.
But isn't that, it's like Denver, we have these big swings and we're not done with some of our mild temperatures. Even though we're going to go through a cold snap, it's still some push and pull. Probably finish with a bang based on the forecasts that we're looking at. We're going to go through a quiet stretch. Keep your eye on that calendar into the second and maybe the first half of December for maybe a snow chance, especially inland. And that's, I think, all I want to talk about. Anything else from you?
No, I'm good, man.
How's the 10 o'clock mornings at 10? You've been crushing in the mornings at 10.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I shouldn't be allowed to have that much fun at work. I really am having such a great time. And I think what I wish people could see is the incredible behind the scenes staff. I mean, the producers of that show are...
Who also produces Whether or Not.
Right. So we have Alex, our EP here. I mean, truly, they work so hard and do such a great job so that when Mike, Shirlene, Sam, and I get to waltz in at 9:45, things are set.
Do not waltz in at 9:45.
No, we're all working really hard. But that behind the scenes crew is the best I think I've ever worked with, and I think that makes it apparent on air with how much fun that we're having, because you can't have that much fun if you're not prepared and know what you're doing. And it's a good show. It's fun.
And it's a good watch. So for our viewers who happen to be checking in on Whether or Not and that hasn't made it onto your radar, check it out because it's a lot of fun.
It is.
It is a lot of fun.
It's fun getting to discuss the topics that we report on, right? And the things that really matter to us here in the tri-state, and getting to dive a little bit deeper into those topics that really impact everybody. I think it's been really neat and informative.
All right, we're doing it on all levels, whether it's Whether or Not on mornings at 10 or Eyewitness News. We'll continue to update you on the 7-day forecast. But Dani, thanks for coming in today to talk about the pattern.
Team Snow.
This won't be the last time. Yes, I know, and I think I'm ready for it to return. Yeah. All right, so that is this edition of Whether or Not. Thanks so much for clicking on. Again, we're going to continue to update you on the AccuWeather forecast always. If there are any changes, if we start to see any hints of a change in the pattern or an imminent storm threat, we can do an emergency Whether or Not. You can find it right here. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time, rain or shine.